We did the Family Cafe here at the Bombeck Center. This was the first Family Cafe that we've ever done here at Bombeck. So it was kind of a pilot course, but overall I think it went really well. We described the Family Cafe as kind of a device or a workshop for parents to come together and discuss different parenting philosophies and different approaches to parenthood, as well as establishing a family unit and keeping it strong within the unit. So we got an overview right here of everything that we did from the start to the very end. The first thing we did was send out surveys to all the parents at Bombeck to find out what they'd be most interested in talking about during these Family Cafe sessions. We sent out the survey called Flyer Monkey, Survey Monkey, and basically we asked about, different times that were convenient to them, as well as topics that we wondered whether they were interesting to them. So we have a little chart right here about the different topics that parents wanted to talk about. The one that was best received was social emotional competence of children. That's what parents seem to be most interested in talking about. So we kind of based the questions and discussions based on those results. We sent out flyers, we sent out invitations, we put invitations and flyers around the Bombeck Center, we sent them out in emails, just to spread the word and get people interested in coming. We hosted the Family Cafes in November, the first three Thursdays in November from 6 to 8, and you have poster pictures all around of the actual cafe itself, basically how it's set up, where there were different tables around, and there were parents at each table as well as one moderator, a teacher here at the Bombeck, to help facilitate the conversation, keep it flowing and whatnot. We would pose a big group question, tables would talk about it, and then we would do a big group discussion, and then parents would stand up, switch around tables for the next prompt, so parents could get different perspectives from the different parents, learn new things, stuff like that.
Okay, before doing the field experience, what was it that you thought you'd learn?
You can go ahead.
Okay. With this, I think we were all kind of expecting more of, learning how to work with someone else, but also I think we expected a little more just putting together something, but not really having a lot of say in it. So it was nice as we worked to actually see that, we had to work in collaboration with, our advisor and the parents, and we got a lot more out of it, I think, as far as, just accomplishing this than we really expected. I might be wrong, but I feel like we kind of, we're really expecting something just let's have them come, let's ask them some questions, but there's a lot more, that went into it than I think we expected, which is really great.
Give us an example of one of your aha learning moments from your field practice.
I think for me,
What is aha? Yeah, what is aha?
well, just
when
Interesting?
No.
kind of like when a light bulb goes off,
So something that just kind of, when it clicks,
something that you learned that
We already talked about it.
kind of.
well, I mean,
Megan can go with it. Maybe you'll
Okay.
understand.
I mean, for me, I remember during the actual cafe experience, we were in charge of walking around, taking pictures, and just kind of listening to what the parents had to say for themselves. And I remember walking around, listening to what parents had to say, and I don't remember what question they were talking about, but I remember listening and hearing and thinking, I've heard my parents say things like this, growing up, and I remember thinking oh no, my parents were right. But what it reminded me is that even though parenting is such a diverse thing, there's so many different approaches and philosophies to parenting. It's all there's one common goal, which is to provide the best for your child and provide the best family unit possible that you can. So it just kind of reminded me that there's so many different ideas on how to get there, but the main end goal is the same. And it just kind of brought me back to growing up with my parents and listening to them talk about what they thought was best for me. And I heard a lot of common themes that I remember hearing when I was a child. So I just thought that was kind of cool.
After having had the field experience, what things would you think would have helped you better prepare for it?
Could you repeat the question? Sorry.
After having had the field experience, what things would have helped you better prepare for it? Or if there was anything that, unless you thought you felt well prepared.
Okay, I think the survey we did is pretty good because we learned we know what parents is most interested about the topic, so we can prepare the topics during the event. And we also prepare the child care for the parents during the actual family cafe, which is really good because I know most parents they come here and they come to the event and they are worried about am I gonna take care of my child? So if if the family cafe provides a free child care, I think parents would be more involved because they don't need to worry about their children.
With us, I think we were very fortunate with, the family engagement collaboration having already provided a basic outline of the family cafe and that kind of stuff. So we kind of almost already had a checklist of we need to do this. I guess our biggest struggle was honestly just like the nitpicky stuff, I guess, of, okay, how are we going to get the child care and what are we going to get for food and how are we going to get it here? So really, all that stuff, like, I don't know that it was even really a problem so much as just something that comes naturally with doing something like this. But we, we're very lucky with the resources that we had that really, there was no big thing that we wish we could have prepared for. I think.
And everyone in my team, we did we actually involved preparing things. So I think we did a really good job for this.
Well, also, it was
Because
a
everyone
pilot thing.
prepared, right?
Yeah, and it was a pilot thing. Like, this is the first time Bombec's ever done something like this. So we didn't necessarily, there was a standard procedure for family cafes just from, there's just a written standard procedure that our advisor had to follow. So, if there was anything, I would just say that, we hadn't done it before, so we weren't necessarily sure what to expect just because none of us had done it before, no one at Bombec had done it before. But, that's just something that comes with the territory. Everyone's got to do something the first time once, so.
Yeah, this is the first time they host family cafe at the Bombec Center. And we are honored to be the first team to prepare it.
Okay, in the last few years, programs have begun having field practice assignments earlier in your academic career. How do you think that helps you in preparing to be a teacher?
Oh, with education, more experience, the better. It's such a hands-on, collaborative, field. It's all about experience. It's all about getting your, hands dirty or whatever. It's all about having that experience. We were in the classrooms our first year. Yeah, freshman year. That's kind of the point. Get us involved sooner. Start us learning things sooner. The more experience we have in working with children, but also with parents. That's kind of what this whole semester, I think, has been about. Is working with students is obviously incredibly important, but working with the parents is just as important. And that's, I think, what this class has kind of been about.
Right.
So this is kind of giving us an insight on what parents, what they worry about. I think it's important for teachers to know.
I think we get so much work with children that it's fantastic, but I also think that because of that, they kind of oftentimes look over things like this. And so getting this experience, I think, was great because, like she said, working with parents is going to be such a vital thing. And until I experienced this class and, worked on our project, I've never heard of another, friend or anyone that I've, known who's gone through a teacher education program or is a teacher that I've met, do anything like this. And so I feel like this is a great idea because you're not only, getting experience with kids, but now you're, learning what goes beyond. And, it's important to have all those relationships and all those connections when you're a teacher. So, the sooner they do something like that, the better. It's terrifying the first time. I can talk to kids all day, but, working with parents can be hard. So this was great to see, hey, we can actually do something like this and it can be successful and, implemented in the classroom.